Hello everyone, Shroomraver here, and today I'm excited to be bringing you my week number 7 battle from Division 2 Season 4 of the Pokemon Premier League. Yes indeed. Now, as you may know, today we are going up against my very good buddy Alex, aka OnesieBanette, and the Birmingham Spritzee. Really looking forward to this game, I think he was too. I've explained, how similar our journeys have been through the PPL. Our battles are always really good. They're always pretty hyped. So it's going to be pretty cool. I was looking forward to this one. Now, my team, I'll go through it very briefly. We've got a sort of bulky offensive Scizor Lure Mamoswine. We've got an offensive Assault Vest Araquanid. We've got Rocky Helmet Mandibuzz. We've got Choice Spec Salazzle, a setup stored power Necrozma, and we've got that lovely Adrenaline Orb Sword Dance Terrakion. If you want a proper in-depth view, all the movesets I'm rocking, the specific EVs, my thought process going into this game, you can head on down to the description where you will find a link to the team building analysis video if you want to watch that. Other links you'll find down there, most importantly, links to Alex, OnesieBanette. Do please make sure you go and check him out. He's just a lovely guy, one of my very good friends, so make sure you check out his side of this battle, his channel, everything on his channel. Do it after this game. You'll also find, I think, links to the Discord server for the PPL, the fan zone, and the merch shop thing for t-shirts and all kind of lovely PPL apparel and assorted goodies. Now, Alex's team, as you can see, he has decided to bring to this game Gigalith, Mega Scizor, Latias, Tapu Koko, Quillfish, and Articuno. So, an interesting setup there. There were some things I was surprised to see. Mostly some things I was surprised not to see. No Hariyama is nice, and no Landorus Incarnate. Now I can see why he didn't bring it, put off by the potential Mamoswine, which I did indeed bring, and things that just straight up outsped it off the bat. But in the end, all the same, it's nice not to see it. So yeah, other than that, there were things I was expecting. It looks like he's not brought Sand, which I was kind of worried about in the back of my old mind. But other than that, it's looking interesting. I'm intrigued to see what kind of Articuno he's going to be running. So without further ado, let's get right into the battle and see exactly how things played out. So, here we go with the battle. You are challenged by Pokemon trainer Alex, as you can see. I'm going to leave Spaceman, my good old Mamoswine. Comes out onto the field looking powerful. In comes Dehydrate, the beautiful shiny Gigalith. You're going to see it's on an air balloon. I'm getting ahead of myself, and you're not going to see Sandstream. Now my first thought, break the Sturdy, break the balloon. I go for Ice Shard. Now I'm actually expecting him to be packing Heavy Slam because I've seen him use it before. As you see here, he's going to go for Toxic. Turns out he was packing Superpower, which wouldn't have killed me, but it would have left me really super low on health, like at sort of 3% or something. He wasn't happy about that series of plays, I know that, but I've explained to him why I did it. I was expecting him to be packing Heavy Slam, not Superpower. I didn't think he'd want to give a free switch into Necrozma. So, in comes the Scizor, exactly what I wanted to happen, as I go for the Stealth Rock. So they're up. I think it's the first time I've got them up this season. Woohoo! Only took me 7 games. So, Rocks are up, and now I'm thinking, just go for Bullet Punch. Go for Bullet Punch, I can nail him with a Hidden Power Fire. Just go for Bullet Punch, please. I have the Berry Berry, it's gonna be fantastic. He Megas up, I'm like, yes! He's going for Bullet Punch, he knows I can't kill him, he's going for Bullet Punch, he's going for goddamn U-turn. And he outspeeds. I'm like, bugger. That is less than ideal. Takes me out to around half. He's going to U-turn on out, and actually, he is going to go into the Articuno, which is cool. He takes the rocks damage, and I just go for the Hidden Power Fire. Now, it's not going to do a whole huge amount to the Articuno, but it's nice to be able to hit it, I guess. And here, I'm going to take the Toxic damage. It's going to take me down quite far, but I'm like, okay, he knows I can't touch him. The Roost is coming. So I'm like, okay, offensive switch, let's go into Salazzle and watch something burn. As you'll see, the Roost is what he opts to go for. So Articuno is going to get right back up to a really nice amount of health, but now Salazzle gets to hit something. And Alex is going to choose to just let the Articuno stay in and take this Fire Blast, which it does not. Articuno just gets destroyed. That crit absolutely did not matter. Down goes Articuno, Salazzle gets a kill. So now in comes Quillfish. I'm like, okay, I don't trust this thing. I don't know what it wants to do to me. He's going to get the Intimidate. I'm like, okay, I do want to switch out. I do want to switch out and try and threaten it a little bit with something. I am going to go into my Araquanid, which should be able to take any given hit from this thing, and he goes for Toxic. I'm like, okay. Score 1 to Alex, well played. He's Toxic on the switch, knowing that I want to keep my my Salazzle around. But realistically, there's not a whole lot he can probably do to me. He can't taunt me, because I'm AV, but I notice he doesn't have Black Sludge or Lefty, so maybe a Sugar Berry. Anyway, he's going to go into his Mega Scizor, he's going to take a little bit of Rocks damage, and I'm just going to go for Infestation. I was hoping to trap in the annoying Quillfish thing. Now obviously, I'm not going to do damage to him, basically, with the Infestation. Toxic's racking up on me, but Infestation is going to be causing damage to him, and if he wants to get out of there, he has to U-turn out of there. But what he's going to do is overpredict. He's going to go for Hidden Powers like Words, but it turns out he's packing Hidden Power Ground for my Salazzle with the Technician boost. I'm not switching out though. I realised I had no reason to switch out. I'm going to go for Liquidation. It's going to do a clean sort of 40-ish% to him. And all I really need is a defense drop, and he's going to be in a real pickle. Because U-turn isn't taking me out from where I am right now. As it is, he's going to go for Roost to try and buy a little bit of time for himself and wear me down with Toxic damage. Which is fine. I'm, again, just going to go for the Liquidation. I'm hoping for the defense drop. But I think it's only 10 or 20%. I'm not actually going to get it. And even after Infestation, he's actually getting back more health than I'm causing damage. Just by a tiny bit. And at this point, I make an overprediction myself. He's going to go for Roost. What I should have done was just click spamming Infestation. Liquidation, but actually what I really should have done was switch this guy out way earlier. I'm going to go for Leech Life, thinking he might want to use this opportunity to go into the Latias and try and do some damage because I'm at low health. This is what I wanted to use against Latias, but as you can see, that's not really going to happen. And I've kind of sitting here in the battle thinking, I have kind of wasted my Araquanid quite badly. Now there's really nothing I can do about it. I'm going to click in Liquidation. He is going to actually just take me out with the U-turn at this point. And now I start to realise I'm really rapidly running out of things to deal with the Latias. And as you can see, that's exactly what he's going to go into. So I'm like, not a fan of this situation in the slightest. He shows Leftovers, which means he's not Scarfed, which means Salazzle will outspeed him. What I'm going to do instead is going to go into Blue Mountain. That's my my Mandibuzz, because with Leftovers I'm not entirely sure that he's going to be offensive, and he's actually just going to go into his Mega Scizor here. Now I choose to go for Foul Play because it would have done a nice amount to the Latias, and as you can see here, Foul Play is going to do a solid chunk to the Mega Sizz, and here I go for U-turn. Reason is, I based my speed from Mandibuzz on the Mamoswine, but I've actually got a little bit of speed investment in this Mandibuzz, and the investment he's got on Mega Sizz puts him just in the middle. So I thought I was going to U-turn on his Roost, but actually he roosted on my U-turn. It's a problem, but as you can see here, what it does do is afford me a lovely little switch into my Salazzle. And now something's got to take a Fire Blast. Let's see what he's going to choose. It's going to be the Quillfish. I'm like, okay, I can judge exactly how much damage I'm doing to this guy with the Fire Blast. He's not got great special defense. This is going to do a decent chunkler. Go for it, and I do miss. That's unfortunate, but it's Fire Blast. It happens. So, going to switch my boy Salazzle out of there. Going to go into my Mamoswine. Kind of pseudo-sacking it, but he does go for a Toxic, I guess, predicting the Mandibuzz to come in this time. So I'm like, okay, I kind of just need to let Mamoswine go here. If I can get a hit off, great. But turns out he is going to be packing the Aqua Jet, and it's going to take out my Mamoswine. So Mamoswine unfortunately does go down, but here he shows Life Orb, and I'm like, oh, not a fan of that. So what I'm going to do is go into my Terrakion. He's shown Life Orb, so he's offensive, so Earthquake will take him out from here. He knows that, and Aqua Jet won't take me out because I have Natural Bulk. So in comes the Mega Sizz instead to take the incoming Earthquake. That is, of course, exactly what I go for. I'm not messing around, weirdly enough, with Quillfish. So this does a good chunk, and that's because it is a crit. Now, unfortunately, whether that crit mattered in terms of how to 2-hit KO him, I'm not sure, but it does force him to go for Bullet Punch instead of Roost, which is probably what he'd have done if I hadn't crit. I know that, so I'm going to go into Salazzle, because I know he's forced to Bullet Punch me at that point, and, you know, it's going to do a good chunk, but nowhere near enough. At this point, he's going to save his Mega Sizz for fodder later, and he's going to go into his Dehydrate the Gigalith, thinking, aha, Gigalith is resistant to Fire Blast, and super tanky, and super bulky. It can easily take 2 Fire Blasts, not realising I'm Specs. It can't take 2 Fire Blasts. Not from a Specs Salazzle, it can't. I am going to land the second Fire Blast. That is going to take out the Gigalith from there, and that's another kill notched up for Salazzle, which, you know, is nice to see it's doing some stuff. Now in comes this problematic Qwilfish, and it's just being annoying to me. Salazzle, I feel like I can still keep around to do some damage later on, so I'm like, okay, he can't mess with this threat. This time, surely he's going for Aqua Jet. Surely he's going for Aqua Jet. He goes for Toxic again. He's making the manly play, and I have full credit to him for that. He's using this this Qwilfish in a very nice way, and now he's Toxic my main wall that I've got left in the form of Mandibuzz. But Mandibuzz hopefully isn't going to have to actually stick around too long. At this point, I realise he's got a chance to go into Tapu Koko for the first time. And as you see, that's exactly what he does. But I'm just like, I see it coming. I'm not going to let you get a free switch into this guy. He gets the electric terrain up with the electric surge, and as you'll see, I'm actually just going to go for the U-turn and get on out of there. And that's what I do. It's obviously not going to do much. And now, basically, I have to go into Necrozma. It's the only thing I have that can take this guy on. It does give me a chance to get the Flame Orb, so he can't Toxic me at the very least. Now, at this point, I just have to scout his set. If he's Life Orb, I kind of just lose. He's going to go for the Volt Switch. He's not Life Orb. I thought he might be Scarfed. He's actually Magnet. And he's going to go into his Mega Sizzle, which, as you'll see, is going to die to rocks. So Mamoswine gets a kill, which is nice and incredibly rare. I am just scouting him. I'm going to go for the Moonlight. Just, you know, I wanted to scout out that set, whatever his Tapu Koko was, and I'm going to get back to near enough full health. And I'm like, okay, what's he going to bring in here? And he's going to bring in the Lati. And I'm like, fantastic. Lati's in. I can set up Calm Mind on this guy all day, every day. This is the chance. And then he does it. And I go, oh. It's come to this. Because as you'll see, I go for a Calm Mind of my own. So now it's come to this. It's come to a Calm Mind war. I have stored power. I just need to get up enough boosts to the point where I can 2-hit KO him. Hopefully. With stored power. I also need to know what moves he's got. Because this could be problematic depending on his moveset. He's going to go for a second Calm Mind, which is scary. Very scary indeed. So he's at +2/+2. I'm going to go for a Calm Mind of my own at +2/+2. And at this point, neither of us can switch out. At 2 Calm Minds in, we're already too far in. We're in too deep to switch. Because if one of us switches, the other one wins. That's just a done deal. So we are in this far. And I'm going to tell you guys, this is going to go on for quite some time. I'm going to switch things up on the next turn. He's going to go for a Calm Mind. I'm actually going to go for an Iron Defense this turn. In case he has Psyshock, I've been burned by that before. Meloetta versus Lati. And it also helps in case he eventually goes down and I have to take on the Qwilfish. And at this point, I'm actually going to do something I never usually do. I'm going to skip ahead, because this bit takes a long time. Right, welcome back. So let's catch up on what's happened here. A lot of time has passed. At this point, I believe we are both at +6 on the Calm Minds. I have an Iron Defense up. I have 1 Moonlight left. And Latias has shown Calm Mind, Roost, and Thunderbolt. Which would imply his last move is either Status, which I don't think it is, or it's Psychic Stab. And it's not Psyshock, because he'd have tried it. It's gonna be Psychic, which I believe, I'm just gonna look over here and make sure, I believe it is. So that is what we're working with here. And I should say at this point, the timer on the match is running out, and that's not because Timer Stall was happening. Like, we were hammering away at the buttons trying to get this to go as quickly as possible. We both still thought we had a chance. So, continuing on, as you'll see, he's going to go for a Roost right about now. He's going to go for a Roost. That's absolutely fine. He's got a lot of them left. I don't have a lot of healing left myself. I'm going to go for stored power. So, as you'll see, stored power with all those boosts is doing a whole heck of a lot of damage. A whole heck of a lot of damage. It's doing just more than his Roost plus Leftovers combination, is doing. So, at this point, he's going to go for yet another Roost. There's so little time on the battle left. It just comes down to, basically, can either of us take out the other one? So here we go. There's the stored power coming in once more. And, look, it leaves him so low. So low. If one of us gets a crit, by the way, it's over. It's really, really very, very over indeed. If one of us gets that crit. But yeah, this is going to be a bit more repetitive. Here comes the Roost once more on the on the Lati. And as you see, like, you see where the bar starts on his health. I go for stored power. It takes it down way lower than that. With the Leftovers, unfortunately, it takes him just back to just under what it was. Is that a spider coming down? No, it's not. We're fine. But as you'll see, I'm running out of health, and I only have one Moonlight left. So here he's going to go for the Thunderbolts. He's trying to leave me at low enough health to where I can be revenged. I am going to go for the Moonlight here. It's debatable as to whether I should have just taken him out there. I wanted to leave myself at enough health, and I figured how much damage I have been doing to him, I could maybe just take him down. Just take him down with enough high rolls, maybe. He's going to go for a Roost here to get himself back up to that lovely, lovely high amount of health that he was at. I'm going to go for the stored power once more, and I'm at so many boosts, as you can see, it's doing a lot of damage. Down he goes. His health is just underneath the D of his nickname. He gets the health back up to just underneath the E. I'm going to get my Flame Orb, take me down a little bit more, and that is going to be the game. So yeah, time did run out on that one. The short thing here is that we win. We win 4-3. I had 4 mons left. Alex had 3 mons left. It's a lot to talk about. Alex obviously was very disappointed. I know that. I was disappointed too. Not with the result, because I'll take a win. It's the fact that Alex and I, our battles have consistently been so good and entertaining in so many ways, that to see it come down to I think basically half an hour of Carmine setting up and healing, to the point where neither of us could kill one another. It was unfortunate for that to happen, and we both were in the mindset, as we were setting up and hitting each other and setting up and hitting each other and healing, that we needed to both be at good health when the other one went down, because there were opportunities where I could have taken him out, but I was like, no, I need Necrozma at good health. I need to be able to take a hit from Quillfish and Tapu Koko, which is what he had left. So we talked it out afterwards. Up until that, it had actually been a really good game. That just sort of took half an hour out of it. It's not how I would have chosen for it to go down, and we actually we spitballed and theoried on about how the game would have gone either way if one of those two had gone down. And it would have come down to a few 50-50s, to be honest. And it actually could have got quite exciting if we'd had like 10 more minutes left. And I hasten to add, once again, this was not me timer stalling, it was not Alex timer stalling at any point. Neither of us were, and we'll both, I think, say the same thing about each other. We were mashing buttons, especially towards the end. We were absolutely mashing them to just get the moves done and get them through so that we could continue the battle. There was no stalling going on here. Carmine's setup was just the way that both of us had sort of chosen to try and win this game, and unfortunately our two Carmine setters went up against one another at exactly the same time. So that's just how it panned out, unfortunately. I don't think either of us played particularly badly. I think we both played pretty well. We both made a few questionable plays. You got my Mammoth one at the beginning. I explained why I made that play. Turns out it was riskier than I thought. You've got the whole Araquanid versus Mega Sizz situation, where we both made over predictions. You've got Alex's very, very good use of Quillfish. You've got my ability to sort of bring in Salazzle and constantly threaten. There were so many dynamics in the first half of the game, and then it got into this Calm Mind War, which was A bit of an anticlimax, it has to be said, but that is the way it goes sometimes. That is just how it happens. As it is, we do take the win, 4-3. I'll take it. It puts us at 2 and 5, which is, you know, better than 1 and 6. So yeah, we're going to have to try and use a little bit of momentum that we got from this game going into the next one. And the next game is going to be a doozy, let me tell you. We are going up against Liverpool FC. Now, this would be a doozy anyway, because they used to be coached by Richie, who is awesome. But he has, of course, had to step down, which means now it's being coached by Slyro, who is a rival, and with whom I have a major score to settle. Because I've only really beaten him by hacks, and then he beat me by hacks last season, and the season before he Arcanined all over my face. And season 2 was Stone Edge Gate, and season 1 was Air Cutter Gate. So that's going to be fascinating to see what happens against Slyro. But that's a story for another time. In the meantime, for this one, as I say, that is going to be it from this game. We do go into the next match at 2 and 5. Links down in the description to Alex, aka OnesieBanette. Please go and check him out. He is just one of my best friends on the world of the internet and the world in general. Do go and check him out. He's absolutely lovely and his content is top notch, so do look at his stuff. But I am going to get out of here. I've rambled on for just a little bit far too long. So thank you all very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed, and I guess with that, I will see you next time. Laters.